Was there anybody in your life like that that maybe you didn't meet, but from a distance you really learned from them?
Yeah, I really did. Tom Landry is a legendary coach in the NFL. We were always playing against them. I was playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's coaching Dallas. And I watched him from afar. When I got into the coaching profession, I really admired how he was always under control, how he always just seemed to do the right things. And I got a chance to watch him, to study him, and he did mentor me from afar. And the other thing about it doesn't have to always be that icon like Tom Landry was. One of the great mentors in my life was a guy who was 4 years older than me in high school. His name was Alan Truman, and he just, when he was 17, I was in junior high, and I kind of watched everything he did. He took me around, practiced with me, helped me out, talked to me, took me to baseball games, football games, but he was a guy who just spoke into the life of a 13-year-old and had a tremendous impact on my life. And I don't know that anyone else would even know his name, but he certainly impacted me. So you can mentor someone from any level. You don't have to be a highly successful business person to be a mentor.
Let's say that I was going to come to you and you're going to be my mentor and we're going to meet. What do we do? What does it look like?
Well, I think it really is incumbent on the person who's going to be the mentor. I've got to learn about you. I've got to find out about you, Craig. What do you need? What ways can I help you? And I've got to put that information out. You have to be willing to kind of receive it and keep giving me those messages of what you're looking for. But you can't always be the one that has to ask questions. I've got to just be able to say, you know what, here's something that can help you. Here's where I think you're going, and here's what can help. But it's that relationship of finding out where we are, developing that trust. And that's one thing that you talked about, intimidating mentors. So many people think, I can't do that because I might not have all the answers. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm not telling Craig the things he needs to know exactly? Don't worry about that. Because you're going to pick up from me a lot of things. You're going to pick up things that benefit. And I may not have all the answers, but you're going to get things that are going to help you down the road no matter what. One of the best mentors I had growing up in a little town, Jackson, Michigan, was my barber, Mr. Hampton. I'd go in there on Friday nights to get my hair cut before the big game. He said, I know this is a big game because you're getting your hair cut. But he would just...
Did you get your hair cut today?
I actually did, believe it or not. Quite long. But Mr. Hampton would just talk about life. He'd talk about things, what's important. Hey, you're getting ready to play this team. How are you guys going to stop them? What are you going to do to counteract their big star? And then he'd say things like, hey, don't be nervous out there. You know what you're doing. You practice well. You're going to have a great game. Very, very informal, but it meant a lot to me as a 15, 16-year-old. Probably the biggest life-changing moment I had, I was a senior in high school, and I was going to quit my high school football team over a little dispute I had with my coach. I thought he was wrong. To this day, I think he was wrong. But being a 17-year-old, I couldn't see any other way, so I quit. Leroy Rockmore was my junior high assistant principal. I hadn't been in junior high in 3 years. But he had developed this relationship. He used to sit with us at the lunch table and just find out how we're doing, and really was not like most principals. He was interested in us. And so he called me during the summer, and he said, I want you to come over to the house. And he said, why are you quitting? And I told him, Coach doesn't understand me. He's wrong. He's wrong. And he said something I never forgot. He said, why would you let anyone stop you from doing something you enjoy? So even if he's wrong, why are you letting him take away something you enjoy? I went back to the coach, went back to the team, and football's been a big part of my life ever since. So Mr. Rockmore is right. You don't have to be the president or a formal position. Leroy Rockmore, Alan Truman spoke into my life. 25 years later, I hire a guy by the name of Mike Tomlin as a young assistant coach. Mike works for me for 1 year. He 4 years later coaches a guy by the name of Scott Frost. Scott was never a big star in the NFL, but he played for Mike Tomlin. 5 years later, Scott comes to my house. He's recruiting, he's now an assistant coach in college, recruiting my son to play for him. And I hear Mike Tomlin's voice. It's Scott Frost's body, but I hear Mike Tomlin's voice. So it goes all the way back to Leroy Rockmore telling me not to give up and not to quit. All through these people, my son is now going to be coached by a guy that is impacted all because Leroy Rockmore spoke into my life.
No matter where you are in life, one word, one piece of encouragement can be totally life-changing.
And you don't know how it's going to impact people. Leroy Rockmore has passed away now, but he's going to have an impact on Eric Dungy 45 years later. Just the way the way the Lord uses all of us. You know, the biggest thrill you get is watching people come in and develop and grow. People ask me, what was the biggest moment of my coaching career? And they think you're going to say, oh, well, it was the Super Bowl. But really, I tell them, seeing a young man come in at 21 as a new player and seeing him lead your team at 25 or 26, being a better player, but being a better person when he comes in your door and says, hey, coach, it was really great to play for you because I learned this, and this, and that's going to help me be a better man down the road. Those are the things that are irreplaceable in your life.